Hi, Dave Roscoe here. I've been with the Pi Network since the beginning, and I passed my KYC pretty soon after it was rolled out, and it went pretty smoothly. But I know for a lot of you that is not the case. I spend a lot of time in the support forums watching the problems that people are having, and I wanted to make a video that is really geared towards new people coming into the ecosystem, but it could be helpful for people that are already there and maybe are having problems with their KYC. But my intent here is mostly to help avoid the problems that I see happening over and over and over again, resulting in KYC applications that in some cases have been pending for over a year. And I know it's frustrating, and it leads to a lot of people to claim that Pi is a scam because they can't get to their Pi and things don't happen, and it's all the fault of the Pi network, when in reality, that's only partly true. I'm a validator on the Pi network, and I can tell you I see a lot of mistakes, and that is more likely than not the cause of a lot of problems. So hopefully this video helps you out. Now, I know that my comment section is going to get blown up with people who are already having problems looking for help, and I hate to disappoint you, but I can't help you. Only the Pi network team can do that. So I'm not going to respond to those requests. I apologize. I'm not trying to be mean, but I mean, based on what I see in the forums, that's a black hole that I don't want to get sucked into. The first thing I want to talk about is name mismatch. Now, when you create your account, a lot of people don't put a lot of care into the name that they put on their account. And that's a big problem, because when you get to KYC, you have to submit a government issued ID. The name on your account has to match that ID exactly. If it doesn't, your KYC is going to be rejected. You have about a 2-week grace period after you create your account to fix naming problems. After that, you can't do it. Well, that's not entirely true. You can do it. You can submit an appeal, and they will allow you to change it if it's a minor change. But for anything else, you're going to have to stake up to 20% of your total Pi to get that changed. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when you're dealing with millions of people, it's got to hurt to get someone to pay attention and fix this problem. It is not the fault of the Pi network if you mess this step up. So don't do it. Make the name on your account match your government issued ID, and you'll be fine. Another very common problem is that the photos that people submit are problematic. Pi network uses a face matching technology, and this fails for most people because the selfie photo that they submit does not match the photo on their submitted ID. That's a problem for 2 reasons. One is you could get instantly rejected by the automated system. And if not, you will get put into a pool that will require a human to validate. And that's me, among others. Last I checked, several 100,000 others. But when you're talking about millions of people worldwide, that's a big backlog. So you don't want to get there. The best way to avoid problems is to make sure that the images you upload are good quality. Make sure they're clear and they are current. The biggest problem I see is that photos are blurry, or they are so old that it's hard to tell that it's the same person. A lot can change in a few years. So you really need to make sure that the photo that you're submitting on your government issued ID matches your selfie photo. If your ID is old, but your selfie photo is current, that could be a problem, and vice versa. So, you do the best you can to make sure that those photos are clear and that they match. Another problem is sometimes people submit photos that are sideways or upside down. And when you're looking side by side at 2 photos for comparison, the automation can't deal with it. So it's definitely going to end up in a queue for human validation. And That's going to introduce a lot of delay in your KYC. Another problem is that some people select the wrong ID type. When you submit your government ID, you have to select what it is, whether that's a driver's license or a passport. If you select the wrong type and it doesn't match the type in the picture, it will get rejected. So make sure that you select the correct type to match your government issued ID. Another issue that users report quite frequently is not receiving SMS verification messages. As part of the process, you provide a phone number. In theory, you're supposed to get notifications via your phone that you respond to and acknowledge with some sort of code. For a lot of people, that doesn't work, and myself included, and there's nothing special about me. But what a lot of people don't realize is that in the same pop-up window where you initiate that SMS verification, there's an option to do it manually. If you select the manual option, you will be presented with several different phone numbers that you can send a message to directly with a verification code. So that avoids these problems. Rather than waiting for a response that may never come, you can manually text the code to one of those numbers. Just pick the one that's best suited for your region. I know some people just try them all until they work, which is fine. Just whatever gets you through that part. But if the automated SMS is not working, this is one way to get around that. And like I said, I had to do this myself. I'm here in the USA. I've got my iPhone. Everything should work, but it didn't. So you got to do what you got to do. Liveness checks. This is one that gets a lot of people hung up. Liveness checks are necessary to ensure that you're a real person. And that is the key to KYC. We don't want bots on our network, and we don't want duplicate people. So liveness checks are key, but people make a lot of mistakes, and I've seen quite a few. When you're recording your video for liveness, you need to make sure that only you are visible in the camera field. If there's anybody else in the video, your check will fail. Do not record videos from another screen. I've seen this many times. I don't get it. You cannot play a video on a phone, TV, laptop, or whatever, and then use your phone to record that and expect to pass liveness. It's just not going to happen. So don't do it. And you need to follow directions exactly as indicated on the screen. It will tell you to look one way, look another, smile, whatever, stand on your head, whatever it tells you to do, follow the instructions exactly. If you don't, your KYC could fail. Now, another thing that gets people upset is that sometimes you will be asked to do multiple re-verifications. And to some people, they say, oh, this, Pi Network's a scam. They keep telling me I have to re-verify, and I already did this. And you know what? It's not a scam. As Pi Network's KYC process evolves over time, KYC applications that previously passed could be flagged for re-verification for any number of reasons. And it's not for us to figure out whether that's right or wrong. We shouldn't get too upset about it. Pi Network does let people know that this is a possibility, but their communications are sometimes hard to find. Just because you don't know about it doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't advanced warning that something like this could happen. So if you get a request to do a re-verification, don't get upset. It's not a scam. You just should do it. And if you don't want any delays, then you got to do what you got to do. You can't fight City Hall, especially when there's millions of people in line in front of you. The most common request is to redo the liveness checks. Some people get multiple liveness checks, and it's not a big deal. It's annoying, sure, because you have to do it, but you should just do it. Don't question why. Don't complain. Just do it. And it's the easiest and smoothest way to get through it. There's some reason why your liveness checks keep getting flagged for re-verification. So maybe you should consider what you might be doing wrong rather than complaining about the Pi Network's KYC process. Sure, it could be a problem on their end, but it might not be either. One thing that comes up a lot, and this is more recent development, is people's KYC status is getting reverted from approved to tentative. And this is like one of the biggest hot spots in the support forums. Pi Network did send out a notice that this could happen, and it's in direct response to improvements to their KYC process. And once they roll out these improvements, it flags things on existing approved KYC applications that require further attention. And it's happened to me twice. So I'm just going to let you know, I'm not immune to this. I did get bitten by this, and it was kind of a pain, but you know what? I got through it. The status can revert without warning. And the way you know this happened is two ways. Well, two main ways is that one, you'll get asked to do a liveness check again. And that's the obvious thing. But sometimes it happens and you don't know it. And as a validator, I always flagged it because I'd go to my Pi browser, open the KYC app, and suddenly I can't validate people because it says my KYC status is tentative. If you're not getting any notifications about your KYC, it's still a good idea to go to the Pi browser, open the KYC app, and just verify that your KYC status is still approved. If it's not, and you're not getting liveness check requests, then something else is wrong. And like I said, this has happened to me twice, and this is how I've solved it both times. It might work for you. In your profile, re-verify your email address and your phone number. Then change your account password. And then finally, re-verify your Pi wallet. For me, this worked both times that my KYC status was reverted. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't, there's not much I can do for you. Pi Network's KYC process is complex because it involves millions of users across different countries. The Pi core team is working very hard to streamline the process, but it's still a work in progress. Taking the right steps early will help you avoid long delays and ensure your KYC gets approved quickly. Remember, the success of Pi Network begins with you. Pi to the moon. Peace.